I just got back from a run, so just need a few minutes to get my breath. Because well, not all the time, but usually when I go for a run, you feel a mixture of emotions. You feel really good, but sometimes, probably made a mistake today with having a Costa coffee. They're a bit too strong, and sometimes when I finish a run, it's hard to speak and breathe because my adrenaline is still pumping. So I've got to kind of calm down, get myself relaxed, and then speak. So just a few minutes to do that. That's one of the things of living in big cities. I was speaking to a client about this, and I think my brother as well. You don't realise sometimes, and I don't realise that we don't always breathe properly. We're holding our breath, stress and anxiety. A lot of the times it's a habit. So I've started to become more aware, like now, when my adrenaline is a bit too high, or my anxiety or excitement, or a combination of all, and I work on just kind of getting, basically, like getting your breath back, being a bit more mindful, and getting all those kind of trapped emotions on your chest, which make it hard to breathe, releasing them, and then you can speak and you're calm. So I wanted to continue on the kind of theme of helping people to break out of isolation, and also sharing with people that this is something that I struggle with myself at times: anxiety, intrusive thoughts, getting stuck in isolation, overthinking. So I know this from suffering from these things myself and making a lot of progress at different stages of my life. And I also know this from coaching and mentoring people now for the past decade or so. So I've got a lot of experience from giving therapy and mentorship and coaching to many clients and seeing the progress that they've made. And I've also got experience from practicing this myself and from having therapy myself, therapy, professional help, and not just, I didn't just get help from like doctors, therapists and mentors, which I did. Also, from the boxing community, going to the gym, being around positive people, getting tuition, and then friends. So that's a big part of what I want to talk about today, what really helps. Now, the exercise, which is really challenging for everybody, myself included, is the ability to move forward and live your life from day to day whilst you're experiencing intrusive thoughts and anxiety, which is really, really difficult to do. But obviously, that's why it's important to practice these things. And with time and practice, it does get easier. And that's when you start to build more confidence. But obviously, there's days where it's difficult. I have days as well where you think, I can't get through the day today. My anxiety's high, I'm depressed, or I'm down, or I'm really stressed out, or, these intrusive thoughts are not going. I'm trying to get rid of them. They're not positive thoughts, they're thoughts that I don't want. So that's where having a daily routine really helps. And if you stick to this long term and you're consistent and you really want to recover, you can make a full recovery. I've done it several times in my life, and if you go online, many other people have. So, recovering is about, building confidence, getting over your anxiety, reducing anxiety, diminishing intrusive thoughts, and getting yourself into a good place mentally and emotionally. So obviously, you've got to put practice in effort, and you also need support and help, and I've spoken about that. I continue to speak about that. So a daily routine is really about making things simple. I'd say it really starts off with, and I actually heard a woman online who's a OCD therapist. She's really good because she's been through OCD and recovered and helps people. And she said something that I've said, and that many people have said. I've heard David Goggins say it, and thousands of people have said it. She said the worst thing to do, and I've said it, when you wake up in the morning, the worst thing to do is to stay in bed and ruminate. And we've all done that. I've done that as well. And that makes the anxiety worse. And usually, and I was even talking to my dad about this, and not just people that suffer with OCD or an anxiety disorder or a mental health problem, but just people in general. When we wake up in the morning, that's usually when we kind of get haunted with all of our anxieties and stresses and worries, some that are real, some that are just, that are fictional. That's when a lot of the intrusion and the worry and the sort of repetitive thoughts, they come at you. And I've even heard the science of this. I can't remember. I think it's at a certain part of the brain, whether it's the amygdala or certain part of the brain releases, certain endorphins or hormones or whatever the case may be, and it's quite a normal reaction. But what I've found with this stuff is, if you're consistent with getting up in the morning and having a routine, you can actually hopefully do what I've done. I especially done this in around, where was it around? I think it was around, I can't remember. I think it was around kind of 2021 to 2022, 23, somewhere in that period. I kind of beat it like permanently. I would wake up in the morning with like no anxiety. It was like paradise. Because I put a lot of effort in and I built a lot of consistency, and I was looking forward to the days, and I got myself into a really good place. And that's something that I'm trying to help more of you to do. So if you're consistent, I don't believe when people say things like, you can't overcome OCD or anxiety. I know that's not true, because you can now. And I know everyone's going to have their own take. So with any anxiety or depression, you can overcome it if you really set a goal and work at it, and you've got a daily routine. And I found one of the most powerful things with mental health, confidence, and all the things we're talking about is exercise. Because when you go running, you don't just train your physical body, you train your mind. And it's exactly the same with boxing. When you're working out in the boxing bag, or if you're sparring or doing, the kind of traditional boxing training, also probably with some of the modern day stuff, you're training your mind. And it's the mind that needs to be trained, because that's where all of the problems really lie. So when you train your body physically, you train your mind anyway. And when you train your mind, you train your body, if that makes sense. So that's what I love, all this stuff that I'm talking about today. So one of the first things that you really want to try and do, and it's not easy, believe me, it is hard at times, but that's why you've got to stick at it. When you wake up in the morning, you really want to get out of bed as quick as you can. You don't really want to be like waking up, snoozing, and then sitting, laying down. The lady said this online, she's right, because then you start feeding all the intrusive thoughts and the anxiety, and then you feel worse, and then you get really scared, and then you feel like you don't want to be around people, or you feel easily triggered. So it's basically really what I want to speak on today is what I've been practicing now for, it's been some time now. I can't even remember exactly how. I'd say in the last 6 years, maybe even longer, but especially I would say in this period where it's been a difficult time for people in general around the world, especially since the lockdown. So the practice is to continue moving forward whilst you're feeling anxiety, whilst you're feeling uncertainty, and whilst you're experiencing a lot of intrusive thoughts. And of course, it's common information out there online. It's not easy, but you've got to practice not identifying with the intrusive thoughts. You can observe them, but you've really got to try. And you're going to fail at times, of course, but you've got to try long term to just ignore them, or be aware of them and continue exercising and training and basically living your life. So basically, getting over a lot of these anxieties is about living your life, committing to living your life. But obviously, that is quite overwhelming at times when you think about that. So you break it down into steps, like I said, getting out of the bed and saying, right, let's make today a really good day by setting activities and goals and to-do lists. And you start getting these things done, and you start to get more present. You start to feel better, and then the intrusive thoughts, they do start to die down, and over time they will diminish. The more consistent you are, the more you build a habit, and the more you've got a daily routine. Like I said, doing things that you need to do. I break up a daily routine into your work, your exercising, paying bills, cleaning, dieting, and spending time with people, which is really important. Not spending all of your time on your own. So really, that's really it today. That's pretty much everything that I've covered, and I will kind of elaborate a little bit more. Yeah. I do like to try and make this simple for people. I like to give different examples just to make things a bit more fun and interesting. So, with anxiety, with intrusive thoughts, and usually intrusive thoughts at some point always will come with anxiety, worry, negative thoughts. So, I go back to when I first started boxing, and everyone's scared, no matter how much they probably are going to deny it. When I used to do the sparring down Fitzroy Lodge, I'd have so much anxiety and worry, but over time how to I learned how to discipline myself to go to the gym when I had intrusive thoughts, emotions, uncomfortable feelings, sensations, fears. When my mind was really stressed, I learned to just kind of force myself to go to the gym and to face that fear. Every week we would spar twice a week. Usually it would be on a Tuesday and a Thursday, if I remember, or sometimes Tuesday, Friday. And the more and more I did that, the more confident I became. So that is really the same practice. I know that it's different, but it's kind of the same as going running whilst you're experiencing intrusive thoughts and anxiety or OCD. And like I said, it's not a pleasant experience at the start, and it can even be unpleasant when you're experienced. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. You will start to feel more confident. You will start to experience more peace. The anxiety will start to go down the more you practice this on a day-to-day basis. Obviously not burning out. So obviously you need to also have time where you're resting, of course. That's where balance comes in. So practice doing that, guys and girls. Practice moving forward today and for the next days when you're experiencing any sort of, depression, loneliness, anxiety, intrusive thoughts, intrusive emotions, and you'll start to strengthen up and recover, and you will start to get past a lot of these things. You get so focused, you get so present on the activities that you're doing, whether you're at work, and sometimes we've got to do it at work. I have clients, and I've been through it, where you've got to go to work for the day and you're battling with anxiety and intrusive thoughts, but you do your best to practice focusing on the job at hand, whatever you've got to do. Whether you work in an office, you're working in a building site, you're working as a postman, or you're running a business. It doesn't matter what the job is, but it matters that you do this practice that I'm saying today, which is basically taking action, moving forward, not isolating yourself, and accepting. It's hard to do this until you get experience, which you will get this. Accepting the anxiety, accepting the intrusive thoughts, accepting the unpleasant feelings, accepting all the sort of worrying and the catastrophizing that you got in your head. And over time you start to starve those intrusive thoughts, your anxieties, your uncomfortable emotions, and you put that focus onto where you want to put it, onto being more present, more mindful, humor, when you're with your family or friends or people at work or at your gym, wherever, you start having cracking jokes and when you have a laugh and have fun, there's no more, you're not thinking about anxiety. So it really is, all these things they simply come down to the practice of not overthinking too much, because when you overthink, you give all your energy and attention to negative thoughts and emotions and intrusive thoughts and worry, and then you're not living your life, you're not enjoying your life. And if you keep doing that, you can make your mental health worse, your confidence can decrease, and your unhappiness and depression. So it's really the practice of focus, putting your attention onto positive things, getting out of your head. I remember years ago, about 2017, when I had a breakdown, and I was actually in hospital, but I was searching for therapy. I was trying to find a way of getting myself well again, because I'd been well before when I was running my business and coaching other people, but I had a breakdown, and I went to different therapies, and I learned a lot from different people. And I remember getting therapy. They did free therapy at the church in St. James. There was like a little caravan. You could go in there, and there were a lot of different therapists, and they gave free therapy for about 20 minutes or so anyway. There was a guy that I went to therapy, and he asked me, he said, Jonathan, are you exercising at the moment? I said, no, I'm not exercising. And he said, oh, because, at the moment you're way up, you're in your head too much, and you really want to come down into your body. And one of the best ways that you can do that is by going to the gym and working out. And he shared his story with me, and I was like, actually, that makes sense. But at the time, I was like, I was on medication, and I was in hospital, in and out of hospital, and I was, quite vulnerable. I didn't really have the strength to go to the gym, so I started going for walks in the park. That was better than nothing, and it helped. It got me more relaxed. So that's what a lot of this is about, really. A lot of the things that we say can sound complicated, but they're really simple once you understand them and put them into practice. So when you wake up in the morning and you're stressed, you're in your head. You wake up and you kind of worry. You're in your head. You're stressed. So when you get out of the bed and you shower, you put clean clothes on, the physical movement of doing that eventually gets you in your body more. When you're more in your body and you're more relaxed, all of us, everybody is a lot more happy, a lot less anxious, whether you're with your friends and whether you're in a conversation with your family and friends. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're not chronically overthinking. You're not in that cycle, that loop of obsessive compulsive, anxious thinking, fighting with your own mind, worrying, trying to push thoughts away, trying to push intrusive thoughts away, which just makes them come on stronger, giving them your energy. You're not in that headspace. And when you're not in that headspace, you feel really good. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. Obviously, there's different therapies and there's different practices in how people get to that place. And I like to share what works for me and what I like to teach clients that I work with or people that follow me on YouTube. And I like to just share other things that, that my dad's taught me, my mum, friends, therapy, things that I've learned from other mentors and just other people, Tyson Fury, David Goggins, and the list goes on and on. So I did that earlier on this stream. Like I said, the first couple of minutes of doing this stream, I feel a bit anxious because I'm in my head. And as I said, I've just come from a run. But now I'm speaking. The more and more I speak and I'm helping all of you, I get more relaxed. I get out of my head. And it's a lot easier to speak and have fun and enjoy yourself. So yeah, you do this regularly. You practice these things for, I would say, a couple of hours each day, because you don't want to overdo it, because that can really stress your mindset. It can stress your mind too much. So I make a point of saying, I don't think from experience that it's very healthy. Again, it depends on the person, right? So take this advice according to what you feel works for you. But generally, from my experience, I don't think it's healthy to over push your mind to a point where you can actually make things worse. But I think it's important to work on pushing yourself for a couple of hours and then coming away, resting, recovering. So like I said, an hour at the gym or a couple of hours or however long you feel with friends and family, and then some time with your work and anything else that you need to do, healthy eating, cleaning, etc. Those of you that are going to watch this stream later on, I really appreciate it. I know that a lot of people watch these streams. Sometimes people watch some of my videos that are a couple of years old and it helps them. So that's the great thing about these videos. So yeah, get a routine down. And, with a routine, it doesn't have to be like, you can change it. So if you've got a routine that you're doing daily and you enjoy it, if it starts to get boring and it feels a bit repetitive, you can just mix it up. You can change the order. That's what I do as well. So just to go over it, to give people an idea, a routine can be, okay, step number one is to get out of bed as quick as you can when you wake up. I like to go to a coffee shop, or if I stay at my parents', I like to have a coffee with my brother in the morning, or with my dad, and have a chat, or with my mum. And that bit of social time makes me feel good, it makes other people feel good. And that's a good thing to do anyway. So you have all these little steps in place, all these little habits, they're just simple routines that you have each day that really help with confidence, mental strength, and lowering anxiety, and eventually getting rid of intrusive thoughts. So yeah, waking up, having a coffee, having a chat, and then after you do that, you can do some journaling. You know, I like to do that. I know it helps my clients, and it's really recommended by a lot of doctors and therapists. You know, again, write your thoughts down or write goals, or you know, if you just enjoy writing, writing's very therapeutic. So you can do that. Then you can, so after you've had a coffee and you've done some social time, then you can go to the gym or go for a run. Just to give you all of you an example, I'm not saying that you've got to copy everything that I do, but today already I got up in the morning, I went for a coffee, I did some writing, I did an hour run, come back, had a shower. I'm doing this live stream for my work, career, business. After this, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do another workout because I've got a lot of energy, and then after that, I will, make some healthy, cook some healthy food, and then go see my brother. So you're keeping your day, positive. You're keeping it social, so you're not isolating, and you're kind of ticking all those boxes that give you confidence and make up a positive day and a positive lifestyle, if that makes sense. And even little things like this, have you noticed in my videos, I drink a lot of water, so eating a healthier diet as best as you can. I've said before, not putting pressure on yourself. So all these little things start to add up. Like I said, and sorry if I'm repeating, but I like to repeat, helps me to explain it. So if you're drinking water regularly, and you're going to the gym regularly, and you're spending time with your family and friends, and you're not on your own all the time, and you're also spending quality time when you're on your own, all these habits start to strengthen your mind, and all these habits start to work together in a positive way, like I said. So if you're going gym regularly, you're getting confidence from that. If you're eating a healthier diet, and again, none of us are perfect, so I don't want all of you to think that I never break my diet. I do have takeaways. I do have a Chinese now and then. I do have a curry. I do have some cakes. I do eat McDonald's here and there, but I try my best to eat consistent healthy food: veg, fruit, salmon, water. I also do my intermittent fasting. So as long as you're consistent, again, because none of us are perfect, you're gonna get good results of this. You're gonna overcome anxiety eventually. You're gonna gain confidence. So all these things help. And I said, the more consistent you are with not isolating, with spending time with friends and family, being social wherever you are, you're going to start to feel better because your mind's not on negative things. You're not focusing on feeding your intrusive thoughts or intrusive ideas or negative thoughts. You're not ruminating too much. Again, of course, we all ruminate. We're all going to worry at times. I do it. We're all going to sometimes get affected by our thoughts. But the key is consistency. The key is really reducing that negative cycle of isolating yourself away from people, of feeding negative thoughts and ideas and being more positive. And it's really winning that battle between negativity and positivity, and you will get better over time, especially when you are getting support from other positive people and you're learning to support yourself. Someone who's really good at this stuff as well is David Goggins. He's really great at explaining mental toughness, really about building mental fortitude, like putting yourself through really challenging, exercises like marathon running, for example, or pull-ups. There's various ways that you can put your mind through a challenging testing experience. One of ways in which you can do that is running. Another way that you can do that is sparring, sparring down a boxing gym, joining a boxing gym. Another way that you can do that is by public speaking, live streaming, practicing speaking whilst you feel anxiety, whilst you feel shy, whilst you're dealing with lots of negative thoughts. That's teaching you how to not let these things discourage you and defeat you spiritually, how to overcome these things by facing them. and by becoming more desensitized to these thoughts, feelings, and emotions until they vanish, or until they no longer bother you. You no longer are affected by them. Another way is therapy, is getting help and support, having someone to talk to about your anxieties, about your intrusive thoughts, or depression, panic attacks, suicidal thoughts, whatever you're dealing with. When you've got someone that you can trust, that's a good person, and someone that is an expert that can help you, and you can speak to that person, it gives you a lot of strength. It takes a lot of courage to do that. I've said that. It takes massive courage to get help, to speak to someone, and for them to give you help and assistance so you can get stronger and recover. So that's another way that you can do it. What other ways are there? What really helped me is facing your fears in general, traveling. You know, I remember when I traveled, I was scared, I was petrified. One of my biggest fears was traveling on my own, you know, getting on a plane, new country. It scared the life out of me. But I did it and I overcame it. I did it 4 times. You know, I went to Germany twice and I went to Latvia twice. But the first time I done it, I had a lot of intrusive thoughts. I was nervous, I was really stressed, but I really set a goal to do it, and I knew that if I can get through this, it's going to get easier, and over time I won't have all these intrusive thoughts. I'll have a different relationship with traveling because I would have gotten stronger through doing it, through exposure therapy, and that's what I did, and it got easier. And then once I knew how to do it, it didn't scare me as much. So a lot of the times it's, you know, we're scared because we don't understand something, because we don't have the experience. But once you get the experience with overcoming anxiety or dealing with intrusive thoughts or depression or mental health, you get more confident because you're like, okay, this gives me some anxiety, but I understand the strategy and how to overcome it. So I know what I need to do now. It's not like I'm in a place where I don't know where to go, like I'm lost. And that used to be one of my big fears with traveling, is that I'd get worried that what if I miss my flight, or what if they don't let me through customs because my passport's out of date, or what if I lose my passport? I had all these what if fears, or what if, you know, something bad happens to me when I travel, you know, what if someone, you know, group of people tried to harm me, all these anxieties that I had, or what if the plane crashes, or what if I sit in the wrong seat and then someone comes along and gets angry and then I get embarrassed in front of everyone on the plane. All these anxieties that I had, or what if someone steals my money or my passport and then I'm stuck? All these fears that were really taunting me, I overcame them through doing it and having a good experience, and then learning from experience. So that's where, you know, experience comes into play, and you can't gain this type of experience without gaining the experience from your own lived experience, which is why it is important to get advice from experts like myself and to learn from other people. But it's equally important that you apply it, because, you know, knowledge is not as effective if you're just reading it from a book, or you're listening to a podcast show, or let's say you're doing therapy, which is helpful, but you're not practicing the homework that your mentor or your therapist has given you so you can get your own experience. Because obviously, like, you can give, let's say you got 30 people that have all got anxiety, and they get a book and they've got the right strategy, the right methods, but out of those 30 people, only 10 people put that information into practice, where the other 20 people don't do it. They're not going to get the results that the other 10 people are, because they've got the information, but they're not applying it. So if someone gives you a book on dieting, on what to eat, on what not to eat, on how much rest, how much training, but if you read the book and you're like, yeah, I understand it, but if you don't diet, and if you don't go to the gym, then you're not going to lose weight, you're not going to get results. So you're not going to get results just from theory. You have to be also a practitioner, and that's where you're going to gain the majority of your the majority of your confidence, and that's where you're going to get the majority of your recovery through your anxiety, depression, intrusive thoughts, anxiety, panic attacks, all those things, loneliness, low self-esteem. all in those areas through practice, which is really important. Sorry, if any of you writing questions, if you've got questions, I'll try and answer them. I can't see any questions coming up. I hope that you've not been putting questions and I've not seen them. Live chat is on. No, sorry. They've changed it. Oh, here we go. That's great. Sorry, I can see a question now. Okay, that's great. Don't know if other people have been writing questions, I couldn't see it. So, yeah, if you're new today, we're talking about how to overcome anxiety, intrusive thoughts, how to build confidence, how to overcome fears, how to get good mental health, how to not be in isolation, and how to enjoy each day by having a routine, simple things, getting up early or as soon as you wake up, not staying in bed too long, getting up, getting dressed, going to the gym, spending time with family and friends, cleaning your apartment, go out for a walk in nature, working on your career, your goals, all the simple things, but all the things that make a difference. And I want to make a point of saying, when someone doesn't have anxiety and intrusive thoughts, these things are quite easy to do, right? And they're positive things. But when you're dealing with anxiety, basic things are really difficult. The amount of people that I've met, and I've experienced this as well, we all have, that have said to me, getting out of bed can feel so difficult when you've got a bad anxiety and you're stressed. I've had it where you wake up and you're like, I was talking to a guy yesterday, an Irishman in my gym, and he was saying to me that he just recovered from like a near-death experience, and he was just saying that he had bad depression and now he's in a better place. And he was saying, it's awful. You wake up in the morning and you're like, I can't handle it. I can't get through the day. We've all felt like that. I've had loads of those days. So what I'm trying to say is reward yourself for the simple little things that you do. Try and be compassionate. These are the things also that my therapist has told me to do. These are things that I've tried to encourage my clients. So little things are a big deal, especially when you're dealing with anxiety. Because as you know, when you're not feeling good, it's not easy to do simple things that are easy to do when you're happy and you're not depressed and you're not worrying about stuff. I've gone off topic for a second. So a lot of people ask me, how can I start eating healthier, right? Because people have seen some of the progress that I made. And one of the reasons why I worked hard at improving my diet, because I really wanted to help other people that are struggling with it, because I know how it feels to struggle. And I also know how it feels to be so grateful and happy when you start to get more disciplined with your diet and with your life in general. What I would say to all of you, try this, right? If it doesn't work for you, then it's okay. What helped me when I started out was not putting pressure on myself. There was no way at the start. I couldn't just all of a sudden stop eating unhealthy and just eat healthy food. I didn't have the strength to do that. I knew that weren't going to work. I tried that in the past, right? Now, some people can do that. That's amazing. If you can do that, then I give you a pat on the back. Well done. But most people can't do that straight away. Most people can't just go from, having an addiction for 20 years or 10 years and then one day just going, like clicking their fingers and then just beating it. Now, I know some people have done it and they're amazing, but most people can't do it that way. And I've never been able to do things like that. So what I done was I said, right, I'm going to continue eating the unhealthy food at the moment. The takeaways, the chocolates, the crisps, the fizzy drinks, but I'm just going to start to slowly incorporate some healthy stuff in my diet. I'm just going to drink water every day, and I'm just going to start to have some fruit and veg. And that's what I did, and I started to make progress. And when I started to eat some healthy food along with my unhealthy food, I started to think, do you know what? It's not as bad as I thought. I could probably do this. And this has given me some confidence. And then over time, my body and my taste buds started to adapt to healthy food and started to want to eat more healthy food. And I gradually started to let go of the unhealthy eating. and you kind of start to balance things out. So basically, I guess it's a little bit of a trick with your brain. You're not putting pressure and saying that, oh, if I eat unhealthy, I've failed, and that helps over time. So if that helps all of you, that's great. And I know that there's quite a lot of people online, just people that I've listened to from all walks of life, that have said they've done the same. The same approach has worked because it's kind of like a non-pressure approach. You're not judging yourself, you're not putting yourself down, which never really works. And you're giving yourself time. And over time, you're getting stronger, you're building up. You know, you're eating healthier, and you're slowly letting go of the unhealthy food. Yeah, a lot has been said about healthy food, and it really does help. And I enjoy healthy food anyway. And like I said, it's an ongoing process. Like all mental health, look, with building confidence, with anxiety, mental health, changing your life, being a better person, you're going to have days where you're going to do well. You're going to eat healthy, you're going to exercise, you're going to be positive, you're going to be, you're going to enjoy your time with family and friends, and you're going to be like, I've done it today, amazing. But you're going to have bad days. You're going to have days where you're going to be anxious, awkward. You're going to have days where you're going to eat bad food. You're going to have days where you're not going to get up on time. You're going to have days where you're going to ruminate on negative thinking. But the key is to not give up on the difficult days and just keep going. And that's the key with all these things. But yeah, before we end this live stream, the practice is difficult because you kind of got to keep living and moving forward when you've got negative emotions in your body, negative thoughts, you're not feeling great, but you have faith and you trust that in time, and you will have spaces where you feel really good. So I hope that helped. I'm going to leave it today. I wanted to keep this stream short because I've got to go to the gym and I'm going to meet with friends later on. Cheers, Frank. So yeah, I will do more streams. I will do a longer one soon. I've got a lot to do today, but all of you can watch the stream back. So basically, have a daily routine. Try to get out of bed as quick as possible. Go to the gym, spend time with family and friends, work on your career. Do the best you can to accept the anxiety that you're dealing with right now, the intrusive thoughts. Don't judge them, don't entertain them, and they will start to go away as you start to focus more on living a positive life, all right? I'll speak to all of you soon, and I hope that helped. Thanks for coming on, and I'll see you next live stream, all right? Have a good day, all of you. I'll speak to you soon. Awesome.